Thank you all for joining our Optimizing Fiber Optic Networks, Innovative Solutions for Enhancing Efficiency and Future Expansion with LiteLinx webinar. Here to present from LiteLinx is VP of Sales, Alec Framlichman. And also we have on doc, Director of Customer Engineering and Operations from E.ON, Harshil Garg. And representing from Winncom Technologies, our Fiber Product Manager, Alex Cernik. If anyone has any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to add them into the chat and they will be addressed at the end of the webinar. Alex Cernik, you are up.
Thank you, Dawn. Appreciate the introduction. Welcome to the second installment of Winncom Technologies Fiber Panel discussion. As Dawn mentioned, my name is Alex Cernik and I'll be the host for today's event. We're also delighted to have Alex again from LiteLinx join us. Again, hopefully this will not be too confusing with dual Alexes, but we promise we've got a fantastic panel discussion for you. Now, before we get into this discussion, let's take a minute and recap what we discussed in our first. Now, on the first one, we examined the pros and cons of various OSP fiber applications. Particularly, we focused on aerial versus burial deployments. On that call, we covered the business cases for each one of those applications, their deployment methods, and what are the most common types of fiber cables that are associated to it. Our goal was simple. It was to help you determine the best fiber deployment method based on your unique set of needs. Now, if you missed it, we'll provide a link at the end of this presentation. It'll take you to our Winncom Bead portal, which will showcase that first panel discussion. Now, for today's purpose, we'll explore various methods and products designed to enhance network efficiency, prepare you for future expansion, and to simplify your maintenance experience. Now, from a product perspective, these goals can be achieved by maximizing the use of limited space. And this is providing more effective and organized installations by protecting network components from external factors like dust, therefore increasing longevity and reliability of your equipment, and making installations simpler and easier to maintain. This session will also dive into the latest innovations in cable management, such as space saving through direct feed of fiber bundles, modular configurations for flexible split ratios, and streamlined installation techniques. To bring this full circle, Alex and Harshil will showcase LiteLinx solution, including their fiber splitter boxes, their patch panels, and their optical distribution frames. The way
thank you, Alex.
Formatted. Go ahead. Sorry.
Thank you for the introduction. I have an idea. We gonna rename Harshil to Alex next time, and make it even more beautiful and confusing.
It's never a dull moment, right?
Sorry for the interruption. Go ahead.
So I was saying for the format of this, I think it'd probably be easier is we'll ask a series of questions and then a combination of Harshil and Alex at LiteLinx will showcase how their solution will be able to address each one of those questions, those types of concerns. And then as Dawn mentioned, I'm sure there's questions, just hold them to the end and we can go through each one of those individually.
Awesome, thank you. All right, so guys, so my name is Alex Framlichman. I'm VP of Sales at Accelerate Networks, and I would like to introduce our customer and good friend of ours, Harshil Garg. He is with E.ON, which is part of the Pentagram Group, which I will let Harshil share a little bit more about who the organization is, the work that they're doing, and in terms of as an ISP, in terms of as a mission-oriented company, It's quite amazing and phenomenal what these guys have done in Canada. Herschel, it's going to be 2 against 1. So I hope you're ready for what's coming your way. So
feel free to pull me in as you need me, and I'm here.
Awesome. So please, we would like to make it as informative and interactive as possible. So guys, please feel free to send questions through the chat. We will try to answer them in real time as they come in and it's appropriate. At the end, we also left a few minutes for Q&A, so just in case if there are going to be some leftovers or there are going to be more questions. So on that note, Herschel, we tried to make it somewhat organized for you. And we outlined 5-6 bullet points to talk about. And the first bullet point, as far as flexibility and ease of maintenance, they're somewhat the same. So I'll aggregate it as one. As one point is, and I want to talk about in the fiber world. We understand a lot of it is boiling down to cable management and organization. So why we understand that the most expensive cable run is either 1 inch too short or 1 foot too short, so it becomes a pain. So you're trying to have an extra slack here and there, and that also drives into some other issues maintaining the network along the way. So can you tell me from an ISP perspective, why is it important to make sure that cable organization is paramount in terms of short, mid, and long-term network management?
For sure. I think first, I can introduce the organization itself. So we are a Pomegranate Group, and I think we are one of the customers for LiteLinx. We are working with LiteLinx for past 2 years, and it's been a phenomenal relationship because, as you know, like every fiber network, despite we are building the same FTTH, they are all very different. And as Alex was asking me about flexibility, so I always give this example that no matter what you do, ultimately you're taking a fiber from your CEO central office back to the house. It's literally a physical fiber going from their office all the way to the house. And think about a network, for example, you're servicing 30,000 passings. So you are literally servicing 30,000 customers, and they're all hardwired, connected through fiber, and all that cable management has to happen. So in the fiber, managing your cable is one of the most critical things you will do. So one of the things, and everybody has different ideas. Every equipment vendor has different ways of doing it. And when it comes to building that huge network, you can imagine the amount of the fiber coming into your distribution cabinet, your FOSC, and then to your OLTs. And I think this is where our engagement with LiteLinx happened first, that we wanted to build something which is very customizable and gives us the flexibility, not only for today, but also for the future. Because not every customer signs up day one. You don't want to put all your money lighting up the whole network from day one. You want to have that flexibility to have the options in a very clean way, that tomorrow this technician is laying the fiber in the cabinet, tomorrow some other technician is laying the fiber, but technicians are not laying the fiber based on their skill set. The equipment is kind of prompting them to say, hey, this is a way to deploy the fiber. So we want to have that kind of a little bit of intelligence in the system itself to say, okay, I'm supposed to be cabled like this. Don't cable me in this way or that way. So those kind of flexibility we were looking for, and we are able to achieve with a very custom solution designed with LiteLinx. Alex, I think that answers your question now, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's actually pretty interesting because you do have various schools of thoughts. You're going to be speaking to several OSP guys and engineers, and each one has its own best deployment practices. So there is not unique, universal one solution that fits all. So you're touching a good point that partnership with LiteLinx, because of our size and mindset, is we can adapt to customer needs and accommodate some of the unique requirements along the way. Thank you. I do appreciate the feedback.
And I give you a small example. Like, I don't know you are showing the splitter box in this or not, but if you're showing it, we can talk about it later. But if you're not showing it, I can talk about it right now.
Yeah, I had a little bit, I call it life happened along the way. So I never got to our office, unfortunately. Okay. But I did put a picture from one of our field deployments of our splitter box. It's kind of on the background for everyone to see the one U rack. So absolutely, Herschel, feel free to come.
I think I can talk about this. So one of the interesting things, that despite the fiber industry and FTTH is deployed for many years, one thing we noticed when we were deploying the OLT is that every OLT card you get from the market, be it Nokia, we deploy a lot of Nokia, we deploy a lot of Calyx, we also have Ubiquiti, we also have actionable network. So one specific thing we found out that every card has 8 ports, and there's no solution in the market which actually can run 8 cables together as a bundle and bring it to a splitter. So you're technically, when you go to the market solutions right now, you're running one cable to one of the first port of the OLT, then the second cable to the second port of the OLT, and you build like 8 cables to finish all the 8 cards. And then you jump to the second card. The second card is also standard. It's 8 ports. So why don't we have a solution which is 8 cables together? It serves all the card together. And you don't have to connect all the 8 cables today, but you can lay those cables right now and leave it for the future. So that's, I think I can cover the second point in Alex's bullet, ease of maintenance, that your 8 cables, despite you're going to light up those fibers in the next 5 years, a cable still exists for you in the cabinet. And OLT cabinets will look much more cleaner, much more organized by doing that. So I think if we refer to the picture in the background, what Alex has there, that's a custom design LiteLinx did for us in one of the last projects we did last year. So each of the ports on the left is an input port from the OLT, which has a bundle of 8 fibers going to the single card. So think about each individual 8 cables going, rather now you have a bundle of 8 cables together as one cable going to one card. So it's a very clean way of cable management. The second card goes to the second port, third card goes to the third port, fourth goes to the fourth port. And believe me, like 4 ports are more than sufficient in most of the rural deployments we will do. They can service about 5,000 customers from those 4 ports, or 4 ports on that splitter box. And on the right-hand side, the other 4 ports are the output ports. So in our deployment, we were using a split ratio of 1:1:8, which is a separate topic of discussion in the fiber industry. And I discussed with many people. They were very shocked to see why are we doing 1:1:28, but we did 1:1:28. It gives a lot of flexibility, but all those fibers are individually coming out from one port to another port, one-to-one mapping, and very cleanly organized. So the entire cabinet, when you look at it, even if the fibers are added or deleted in the future, it's very easy to maintain. You touch one chain and you finish with one chain, and it's always like a chain. So that way we found that, first of all, we're able to make it cleaner. We are also able to save thousands of dollars in organizing those cabinets, putting the labor into it. This all come like a prefabricated solution from LiteLinx to us. We deploy this, we run that cable to the card, we run the cable to our ODF, and we are up and running. So within let's say hour and a half span, literally our OLTs are able to be completely wired. So that's a huge advantage in terms of time and money for us.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So I have a product-related question. I guess it would be about minimizing signal loss. So the question is this: so why does maintaining a minimum bend radius minimize signal loss, and how does that LiteLinx Slack panels ensure that a customer's network is performing at its best?
Right. So when we were designing the solution, one of the things we liked about LiteLinx in this case is like we can discuss with them like exactly what we want. And because we understand the fiber characteristics and type of fiber we are using, so we were able to design something which has a right type of bend radius. And if you bend the fiber more than you need to bend or more than it's allowed to bend, it'll still work, but the performance of the degradation of the fiber will be more than what you expect. Second big factor is that because all of these things are actually fabricated in the factory, we can adopt to more automated solutions in the factory that will allow you to build a little bit less of the losses on the entire system. So you are building the entire input, output, along with the fiber bending all together as a one solution. And as a customer, when we get it, we simply get one cable on this side and one cable on this side. And we're not relying on individual technician skills to maintain those aspects of the fiber. So it's already maintained for us, already built in the factory with the best quality standards there. So that brings us is a huge advantage in our link budgets from the OLT to the houses, and we are able to achieve almost 8 kilometers more distance by optimizing a lot of the losses along the way like that. OLT is one of the locations we optimize the loss, but we were also able to optimize the losses in other places as well to minimize the signal losses.
Excellent.
You know, it's a good point. In Canada, I mean, you do have in rural areas, I mean, somewhat it's similar to US, but customer density is less. So now the question is, can single OLT cover more miles? I mean, that all gonna boil down to cost of the deployment. That's a very valid point.
Exactly. So that's the advantage you get. Like if you can gain 3-4 dBs, even 3-4 dBs makes a huge difference in the optics. And if you're able to gain that, your boundary conditions will be removed first of all. And if you're confident enough on maintenance of these signal losses, you will be able to confidently tell your design team to design the OLT for a longer radius. So that in the second project, what we are doing, and with the improvement LiteLinx is able to bring to the table for us, we are actually increasing the radius of our OLTs at this moment.
Excellent.
Very nice.
If I remember in the beginning, we used an example that you had 30,000 direct connect customers. So from an improved organization perspective, how does preventing clutter improve organization, and what methods are you using to make it more efficient, in particular in identifying access cables when needed?
So one of the things is very important to identify is that Pomegranate as a company into fiber space is growing very fast. And when we do the deployment very fast, that means that we have to adapt to technologies which will allow us to deploy the fiber very fast. So we are relying on a lot of solutions which will help us to track our permits, track our construction, track everything. But as a player in the fiber, you will notice that splicing itself and on connecting everything together takes a huge amount of time, and the testing of that whole thing. So this is where we found that building solutions which can actually make you look clean and everything built into the factory, bringing those things directly, completely built in the factory and just bringing to your site and plug and play solutions, that plays a major role in reducing your delivery timelines. So just to give you an example, with these kind of custom solutions, we delivered 1,000 kilometers of fiber networks with 30,000 passings on that within a period of 1 year, 1 month approximately. So year and a month, so 13 months deployment timeline, which is phenomenal. Like for a company which is deploying fiber like this, the 11,000 kilometers of fiber in 12 months time is phenomenal. And the way to do this is key to access these kind of innovative products that are completely built in factory. You just come, bring them, plug and play, and your OLTs, your distribution cabinets, your other passive infrastructure is very quick to turn them on.
Herschel, I don't know if you know that, but statistically speaking, approximately 25 to 30% of splices on the fiber network need to be redone. I don't know if you knew that. It's it becomes expensive.
It is expensive, yes. We are living that right now. And I tell you one more thing on that. In addition to that, sooner you learn that your fiber is failing, your cost of fixing the network goes down significantly. It's a factor of time. So if you are fixing your fiber for next 6 months versus you're fixing the fiber in the next 15 days, actually reduces the indirect cost significantly. So that brings me to my point back again, that if you are able to use these innovative products to turn on your network very quickly, that just helps you to reduce that indirect cost, which you're going to incur over 6 months, or you're just doing for 15 days. That's a huge difference. You will find that despite our ratios are same, we are still 25% failing. That's very sad. We are still looking for a solution to improvise on that, but the amount of the time we use to fix those things is reduced significantly for us. That brings a significant saving from having these smart devices in hand to deploy the fiber.
There's another box. I was hoping to be in the office and show a couple of appliances, boxes that we have introduced recently with some innovation in it. Do you have by any chance an ODF nearby?
Yes, I can arrange that. Talking, I can bring something in.
Okay, all right, sounds good. So if you could ask your guys to accommodate us, I would appreciate, since it's kind of was a last minute thing. I want to talk a little bit about future proofing, and you touched it along the ways, but the question is really, I guess, the emphasis. How important, not important. You understand it's important because people change, evolve along the way, and fiber network is not like wireless, where it's dynamic, signal can be anywhere. If there is a run, there is a run, right? So it's going to be a lot more expensive to relocate the fiber and so on. Same thing applies to the cabinets. You're going to have different guys with different disciplines. Some of them are more organized, less organized, and you're trying to ensure that you're protecting your net. Oh, thank you. You're trying to make sure that you're building a network, you're putting documentation in place. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, a year later, people can go back, identify the fiber that they need, and make the changes and so on. So what's your philosophy for within the Pemagram group on future proofing? How do you look into that concept?
To be honest, I missed the question because I was trying to organize the ODF for you. So if you can ask again, that would be nice.
I've been talking to 10 minutes already. Okay, so I'll abbreviate it. When you look into future-proofing the network and using these different tools that can help you organize and build a network, keep it organized, well documented, regardless who's touching, because you're going to have some engineers who are more organized, less organized, and so on. And what you're trying to ensure that you don't end up with spaghetti in your closets. 1, 2, 3 years later, you're running the network.
Right.
What's your philosophy? How do you approach that as a service provider?
Right. So I think you actually are touching a very important point. In the fiber, you are dealing with so many fiber strand, fiber cables, fiber equipments all the way, and it's hard to believe that in fiber everything is passive, everything is cables, everything is cable management. Everywhere you go from CO to by the time you touch the house, the only electronics you have is either in the OLT side of it or in the house. And in between that is completely that spaghetti management, you can technically say that. So we have a lot of smart tools that keep track of every stand, every equipment we have on the way, because those are non-traceable equipment at this moment. Then the devices which we are building together with you, the custom solutions LiteLinx is providing us, they're helping us significantly in terms of thinking, what can we have in the future for next 5 years, next 10 years, and then leaving those cables, if we can leave those cables, if they're, let's say you project to have 2 more OLT cards in the next 5 years. So can we leave those 10 more cables, 10 more patch cards in the cabinet right now? So those are type of the actions we are taking today that we can maximize on our passive infrastructure assets at critical locations. So we never have to go back and do those cabling again in the next 5 years. We are already ready. Because if you look at the cost of deployment of fiber per kilometer versus building these cabinets, it's literally nothing. Like it's adding 10 patch cords in my OLT in the whole deployment of 1,000 kilometers of fiber cost me nothing. So why don't we add those 10 patch cord, which we are projecting to add in 5 years, now? So by introducing these equipment, which is bundling everything together, keeping it nice, we're able to leave those patch cords right there. Second thing, what we improved on is, let's say right now we are doing a 1:2 split, a 1:4 split in that box you're seeing there right now in Alex's screen. If you want to change the ratio to, let's say, 1:8 in that box, so it's very easy solution that each port, you just remove that splitter from there and put a new splitter there, and you are up and running back again. And it's in a very clean way. Every cable has its own path to follow. Every cable has its own place to go. And in one of the OLTs, we are also able to leave 1:2 and 1:4 splitter options together, because the solution, which is customized, allows us to do that. So when you talk about future proofing or future spaghetti removals, this is the way we found that is more economical to do it. Add your patch cards, leave the patch card for the future. When you add the electronics, your cabling is already there. Yes, you cannot do that at every point in the fiber, but at your critical locations like OLT, which is one in, let's say, 60-kilometer area of your linear fiber builds, yes, it's totally worth to put $100 extra to just do that right now. And same thing, keeping the record of your those kind of assets and a clean layout diagrams is also very important. So when you talk about bundling things together, like the way the solution allows you to bundle things together, it simplifies the record of the data also. Because if your entire card is going into one port, you can simply say card 1, port 1. So your management of your cables in the future is also becomes very easy. I hope that answers your question there.
Yeah, makes sense.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
And Alex, you want to show me you want to show the ODF you guys sent us?
Yes. So there are some interesting innovation that we have introduced into the ODF to help again as a short-term or long-term management of the cables. And Herschel, do you wanna mention how it changes, how it impacts your network optimization and organization?
For sure. I can talk about certain things here. So as a person, like I'm very big fan of standardization. So I always love standardization, because once you're standard on your products and you can remove your big SKUs into smaller SKUs, it allows you to photocopy and build fast. So I'm a big fan of that. And when we started doing our OLTs and the distribution cabinet, I was looking for a solution where it's very flexible in terms of how many fibers you want to integrate, and it adapts to that kind of solution. So that's the time we discussed with LiteLinx, and thanks to them, like we are able to get a mechanical design engineer on board right away. And within a couple of days, they were able to render 3D designs to us to say, hey, is this what you're thinking? And I think these are two of the models we built together. These are optical distribution frames, very modular approach, includes the cable management within the module itself. So you don't have to look for a separate cable management solution for them. So basically, just to explain what these are cassette-based optical distribution frame. You can remove any of the cassettes you want, or you can add any of the cassettes you want. They're in two different form factors here. This one supports 6 cassettes, 12 ports each, which is 72 fibers. And this is the most common one we use in any of the rural OLTs. Pretty small and keep my fiber organized. Then in this case, we are able to allocate, let's say, the first one for our incoming feed to the OLT, which is our internet. And then we are able to allocate the others for the feed going into the houses. Right, so that way we are able to distribute it properly. Now, when it comes to the organizing the fiber within the cassette itself, the solution is pretty well organized. Each one is an individual cassette and very robust design, very sturdy design. Looks pretty sturdy, and when you're deploying fiber, it's important to know that your fiber is going to stay for next 50, 60 years at least. That's the lifespan of fiber is predicted. And when you take this in hand, you feel like, yes, this is going to stay for 50, 60 years. That's the good feeling you should have about every fiber equipment you touch in the market. So this gives it that feeling, right? So now when it comes to splicing side, so you can bring the fiber cable inside from the other side. It provides you a ribbon splice or a single splice options right there. And the entire 12 fibers, you can do a single ribbon splice, and you are connected to your main passive network there. And then, as I said, depending on how many ports you want, you can remove these cassettes or add these cassettes and keep it that way. In the front, there is a complete cable management, cable support trays available here. This big one comes with these small hooks there, which attaches here, and the fibers are completely supported when they come out of these ports. So every fiber you are running, they're very well supported. So it's very modular from that design. Now, when you look at the back of this cabinet, you have plenty of room to slack your fibers in, because you always want to bring extra fiber in order to future-proof yourself. So there's plenty of space available in the bottom to store your main fiber. And then you have plenty of cable management holes here where you can use a zip ties to zip your fiber, secure your fiber properly into the distribution frame. So you're not running into issues of fiber getting pulled out or fiber getting not being managed properly. So there are multiple places to secure the fiber properly and organize the fiber properly. What we liked about is like the attention to detail. They provide the transfer tubes. So every time you bring in the fiber, and your fiber is naked inside the ODF, you have the tubes to protect the fiber inside the ODF, and all the hardware which you need to install it in a 19-inch rack mount or 23-inch rack mount and secure your nuts and bolts and everything is provided as a kit in the back here. So typically when we open this, the splicer takes it, and they're able to make 12 splices for 72 ports, or six splices for 72 ports. And within an hour, hour and a half, my thing is completely connected to the network. Yeah. Any questions?
Wow, nice.
Yes.
Guys, please, for the group on this call, feel free to send your questions in. We would like to answer them if possible. I mean, as we're coming along in real time. Alex, do you have anything on your end?
No, I think this was an excellent overview of the portfolio, in particular, the real life uses of it. And Herschel, thank you so much. I think that was a fantastic job providing an overview.
Yeah, I'm glad able to help. Yeah. Exactly.
Awesome. All right, so let's see.
So I think if you want,
kind of...
I can mention one more point, I think, which I've kind of missed here. One of the things we are doing to deploy fiber faster is modular. And I said standardization, yes, but at the same time, we have to be modular too. So we want everything to fit into everything. That's the approach we are taking right now, right? So what we do, especially for the cabinets, we try to go everything 19-inch rack mount, and your Nokia is 19-inch rack mount, Calyx is 19-inch rack mount, Atran is 19-inch rack mount. All these ODFs and everything, what we ask them to customize is also 19-inch rack mount. So if you have, let's say, 23U space or 25U space in your cabinet and 19-inch, you do a complete 19-inch rack mount there, you are pretty much free to expand these things pretty easily. You just plug it in, connect your fiber, you're up and running.
Yeah, makes it robust and
exactly, that's
template based. Yeah, makes sense. All right, we did miss one thing. I kind of want to roll back. Can you tell us a little bit about Pentagram? What do you guys do? The most interesting at the end.
Exactly, yeah. Now, we as a Pomegranate are one of the fastest FTTH growing company here. We are fiber centric. So what we do is we grow by acquisition. So we are open to acquisitions of any companies who has either have fiber assets or turning their network into fiber networks. And we have acquired many companies in last couple of years. And we have expanded our fiber footprint significantly all over Canada right now, and also in US. So we are technically, if you ask me in one nutshell, we are a rural broadband FTTH centric company, and growing as we speak.
But currently your footprint is in Canada, or you already have anything going on in the United States?
Yes. We own some companies in the United States, and that's how our footprint is also in the United States.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there is a very important topic of conversation that we have in US, which I don't know if you are familiar with. It's called BEAD. Me and Alex, we kind of been spending quite a bit of time around that topic. Let's call it like that.
Yeah, juggernaut, right?
Yeah. And every day it's getting more and more interesting. So, but Alex will talk a little bit about that, in a moment. So, guys, one of the questions that came up was pricing and availability. So, yes, the products are available today and ODF and splitter box. Pricing, I would defer to Winncom, please. I don't want to mention things around, kind of in the open. So again, it's a modular approach. So there is a range of things depending, how your what options are being built into the products, but those products are currently available on the market.
Yeah, and just to quickly add on to that, I think the first step is just reaching out to your Winncom account manager. And from that conversation, they'll bring Alex and myself involved here. So we'll sit down, understand your application, what you're trying to accomplish, and then we'll provide a product that helps you not only now, but to scale into future proof as your network continues to grow. Now, Alex also had a great segment to BEAD. So just taking a quick step back first, Winncom has been a value-added distributor for just about 30 years. We can help in a multitude of ways. First of which we have access to active fiber. So I think we talked about Nokia in this conversation, and OLTs and ONTs. So if you are looking to build out an XGS PON network, a GPON network, or a 25G network, please reach out. Again, starts with your account manager and then bring us into a consultation call. In addition to that, we do have a wide range of fiber and fiber adjacent accessories. LiteLinx is one of our strategic manufacturers, and they are a fantastic example of, I think, what Alex is calling WISP-friendly fiber. So great quality product, very good price point, fantastic service. So again, if you're talking about outdoor fiber, be it aerial, barrel, conduit, and then those fiber adjacent accessories, engage us so we can help you with the right solution. For BEAD, it's millions of dollars available per state. It's a complicated program. We have a team of experts that can simplify the experience. So if it's from understanding your state's timeline, how much money is allocated, where are you in the process? Are you in the challenge process, the rebuttal, the reunification? Are you looking at pre-applications? We can help you understand what that looks like. We've gone through every volume 1, volume 2. Each state, we've been able to call out how each state scores it, your technology preferences. But ultimately, we can help you decide either offensively and defensively how to either protect your investment or how to build out into other locations, pulling in unserved or underserved areas along with your community anchor locations. We've got some proprietary programs from a QGIS mapping. So again, we can help you determine key areas. We can help determine if there was previous funding vehicles, what existing technologies are in that area. And then we have some enhanced capabilities where we can help with high-level fiber designs. An AI-driven program that will help build out your fiber spine, which can help build out all those key requirements you need to be able to submit a grant application. And then again, we have grant writing services, professional engineering services, and the ability to do PE stamp drawings. And then we pull this all together with our financial support partner, Leaf, who can either help lease some of these features, or they can help with that 25% match and give you another lever, so to speak, to pull. So we're here to help. You see our registration link to our BEAD portal, our panel discussion, aerial versus barrel, and again, we'll make this presentation available to everyone on the phone.
Awesome. Well, gentlemen, thank you. I do appreciate it. Herschel, despite the technical issues, we got it. For a minute, I thought we were going to have problems with the camera.
I know.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. I do appreciate your help and being obviously our valued customer. You know what I say? It's actually not me, but many years ago, when there was a company, cell phone company, Ameritech, and they were having some issues, and their slogan was, "In the world of technology, people make the difference." So. So this is where the LiteLinx comes in, and for us, we're small enough, nimble, where we can have a conversation with a customer, understand the requirements, and come up with a product. As long as it makes sense, that fits their application deployment model, that is clean, neat, nice, and helps customers save money along the way. So
I think that's your next slogan, Alex. I like that.
Yeah, WISP-friendly fiber.
There you go.
All right, sounds good, guys. Thank you again for attending, for joining us today.